June 4th, 1978. Deep in California's Plumas National Forest, a group of motorcyclists notices something that shouldn't be there. A Forest Service trailer, alone in a clearing, a broken window, and inside, a man who had been missing for over 3 months. Here's the part no one has ever explained. He didn't die in February, when he vanished. The evidence suggests he survived in that trailer for as long as 13 weeks. There was canned food stockpiled inside. Investigators reported most of it was never touched. The food was never eaten. He was one of 5 friends. 4 of them were found on that mountain. The 5th never was. And the question that has haunted investigators for almost 50 years is not how they died, it's why they were ever there at all. This is Never Found, where the record ends and the questions begin. By the end of this file, you'll know everything the investigators knew: the timeline, the witness, the trailer, and the 3 details that still make no sense. Stay with me. Yuba City, California, February 1978. Ted Weher is 32, friendly, talkative, the kind of man who greets strangers on the street. Jack Madruga is 30, an Army veteran, careful with his prized car, a 1969 Mercury Montego. Bill Sterling is 29, quiet and devout. Jackie Hute is 24, the youngest, devoted to his friends. And Gary Mathias is 25, also a veteran, managing a psychiatric condition with treatment his doctors called a genuine success story. The 5 are inseparable. Their families call them the boys. Each of them lives with a mild intellectual disability or a psychiatric condition, but their families are clear on this point, and it matters for everything that follows. These are capable men. They hold jobs, they travel on their own, and they know the roads between Yuba City and Chico. They've driven them many times. What binds them together is basketball. They play for a team called the Gateway Gators through a local program for adults with disabilities, and tomorrow, Saturday, February 25, is the biggest game of their lives, a Special Olympics tournament near Sacramento. Win it, and the team advances to the state games in Los Angeles. They are so excited that most of them lay out their uniforms before they leave the house. Remember that, they plan to come home. Friday, February 24th. Around 6 p.m., the 5 pile into Madruga's Montego and drive about 50 miles north to Chico to watch their favorite college team, UC Davis, play Chico State. One last game before their own. The game ends between 9:30 and 10. And here the record gives us one final, ordinary image. The 5 men stop at a convenience store in Chico. They buy snacks and drinks for the road home. A surveillance camera captures them. Junk food, sodas, 1 tank of gas between them and their beds. It is, in all likelihood, the last time anyone sees them alive. The drive home is simple. South, down familiar highways, a little over an hour. 5 men, 1 car, 1 route they know by heart. They never arrive. Saturday morning, Bill Sterling's mother checks his room at 2 a.m., empty. She calls the other families. No one has come home. By morning, 5 missing persons reports are filed, and one detail makes police take it seriously immediately. These men had a tournament that day. The tournament they'd trained for. They would not simply skip it. Families and volunteers search the highways between Chico and Yuba City. Nothing. No crash, no car, no sign. 4 days later, on February 28th, the Montego is found. Not on their route home, not near it. The car is sitting in shallow snow on the side of Oroville-Quincy Highway, a remote mountain road climbing into the Plumas National Forest, roughly 70 miles in the wrong direction. Thousands of feet up, in terrain none of them knew, on a February night in street clothes, and now the details start to fight each other. The snack wrappers are there, the food eaten, the doors are unlocked, 1 window is down, there's about a 1/4 tank of gas, the keys are gone, and the car itself, the car worked, the car had gas, and the car was empty. Investigators check it thoroughly. It starts, it runs, it isn't even seriously stuck. Officers note it could have been pushed free of the snow without much effort. There is no damage, no blood, no sign of struggle. Stranger still, the undercarriage is clean. Whoever drove that dark, rutted mountain road did it carefully, skillfully, without bottoming out. Madruga's family says he babied that car and would never take it up a road like this, so investigators are left with a question inside a question. Not just why the car was there, but who was driving it. There may have been one witness that night. A man named Joseph Shones was on that same mountain road, hours after the game. His own car had become stuck in the snow, and while trying to free it, he began suffering what he later learned was a heart attack. Lying in his car in the dark, in pain, he says he saw headlights pull up behind him. He heard voices, whistling, what he believed was a group of people. He called out for help. The lights, he says, went out, and no one came. Shons would later say he thought he saw men and possibly a woman with a baby, but investigators could never confirm any woman or child was on that mountain, and Shons himself was in a medical crisis in the dark. Was it the Five? Was it someone else? Was it anyone at all? Police believe he likely did encounter the group, but it was never confirmed. It remains a maybe. And in this case, a maybe is as good as it gets. Because here's the thing. The strangest part of this case isn't the disappearance. It isn't even the wrong road. It's what those motorcyclists found in June, 3 months later, 20 miles past the car. Winter searches find nothing. The Plumas is buried under snow, measured in feet, and after weeks, the official search winds down. The families wait through March, April, May. On June 4th, the snow is gone, and the motorcyclists find the trailer at a remote campground. Inside is Ted Weher. He is lying on a bed, covered in sheets. He is wearing the clothes he vanished in, and everything about the scene is wrong. Ted was clean-shaven in February. Now he has a full beard, and a pathologist uses that detail to estimate he survived 8 to 13 weeks after the disappearance, weeks in which he suffered severe frostbite and lost a devastating amount of weight, weeks in which, and this is the detail that breaks investigators, the search had already ended, while he may still have been alive. He may have died only about 2 weeks before he was found, and the trailer could have kept him alive far longer. Investigators reported stockpiled canned food inside, enough to sustain a group for many months, and materials that could have provided heat. Most of it, they said, was never used. Help was 20 feet away, sealed in cans, and rescue never came. Why would a starving man not eat the food in the room he was dying in? Some point to the group's disabilities. Maybe they believed the supplies weren't theirs to take, or didn't know how to open what they found. Others say that explanation has never sat right because someone did open some cans. Someone was surviving there for a while. And on a table beside the bed, Ted's ring, his wallet, cash still inside, and a gold Waltham watch. According to the families, that watch belonged to none of the 5 men. No one has ever explained whose it was. In the days that follow, searchers work the ground between the car and the trailer, and the mountain gives back 3 more of the 5. The remains of Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling are found along the route toward the trailer. Jackie Hute's remains are found further on, closer to it. The evidence tells a stark story. At some point on that February night, the 5 left a working car and set out on foot, up the mountain, through deep snow, in the dark. Some made it miles. 2 made it, investigators believe, all the way to shelter. Inside the trailer, one more detail: Gary Mathias's tennis shoes. Ted's own leather shoes were never found. The most common reading is heartbreakingly practical. Gary's feet may have been injured, and Ted's shoes were sturdier, or bigger. It suggests Gary reached the trailer. It suggests Gary was alive there. And then the trail simply stops. Gary Mathias, 25 years old, has never been found. Not that summer, when searchers combed the drainage around the campground. Not in the decade since. No remains, no clothing, no confirmed sighting. He is, to this day, listed as a missing person. Let me be clear about something, because coverage of this case has not always been fair to him. Gary is a victim in this story. He vanished with his friends on a mountain that killed 4 of them. His family has spent nearly 50 years without an answer. Whatever happened on that road happened to all 5. So here is the file, as it exists. Known: 5 men attended a basketball game and were seen buying snacks afterward. Their car was found 70 miles off route, functional, undamaged, on a snowbound mountain road. 4 of the 5 died on that mountain, one after surviving for as long as 3 months in a trailer with food that largely went unused. One was never found. No weapon, no wounds attributable to violence, no suspect was ever named. The case was handled across 3 counties as a missing persons matter and was never elevated to a homicide investigation. And some later accounts allege a tip about that heated trailer may never have reached the right desk in time. Unknown why the car turned up the mountain, who was driving, why 5 men abandoned a working vehicle, why the food went uneaten, whose watch was on that table, and where Gary Mathias is. The leading theories stated neutrally. 1. A wrong turn. In darkness, on unfamiliar merging highways, they ended up climbing without realizing it, got the car lodged in snow, saw fresh snowcat tracks, and followed them on foot toward what they hoped was help. It explains the route. It struggles with why capable men who knew the road made that turn and why the car was left when it could be freed. 2. They were following or fleeing something. The families have always maintained the men would never have walked into those woods voluntarily and believe some person or vehicle compelled them up that road. It explains the abandonment. It has never produced a suspect or physical evidence. 3. A medical or psychological event. Confusion or crisis in the group changed their decisions that night. It explains the irrationality. It explains almost nothing else. Almost 50 years on, no theory survives contact with every fact. That's what makes this file what it is. So I'll leave it with you. 5 men, 1 working car, 20 miles of snow. Which detail do you think is the key to this case? The wrong road, the uneaten food, or the watch? Tell me below. The searches ended. The questions didn't. This file remains exactly what it was in 1978, never found. If you want another case where the trail ends mid-step, the next file is on screen now. Until then, stay curious and stay safe.